Hi guys, my name is the driver's teacher. Today I want us to talk about junction management. That is how to manage ourselves when we get to junctions. If you look at the way accidents is increasing, you can see clearly that most of these accidents are being caused by how we manage ourselves when we get to junctions. Because I've seen that people don't really understand how to go by the rules and regulations on junctions whenever they get there. When we talked about junction, we said junction is a place where two or more roads meet, which mostly has the following on them. That is a giveaway sign, a road marking, stop sign, and a traffic light, which indicate priorities on that particular area. So meaning with these areas, whenever you get there, we have all these signs there at your disposal for you to react upon them. So it means that the moment you get there, you don't have priority. The signs indicate which of these vehicles or which of these roads or which of these cars has the priority to go first. On an uncontrolled junctions where there are no road signs, no road markings like the giveaway, no traffic light and all that, all vehicles has an equal right of priority. So most of the time when you get to an uncontrolled junctions and all that, you must be extra careful because that area do not have the signs which will indicate which of the cars has the priority. So when you get to that particular area, every car there has equal priority. So take note of that one. So when you encounter an uncontrolled junction, you should always slow down and look for traffic in all directions and be prepared to stop and also give way if necessary. So whenever you meet any of these areas, please follow what I just said to be on the safer side. Your life should be your number one priority, not where you are going should be the priority. No. At every junction, there are rules at the junction that when you get there, you need to pay attention to. So I'm going to take you through some of the rules so that when you get to the junction, you always respect the rules to be on the safer side. The first rule is that when you get to a junction, you should always use the MSM and the PSL routine effectively in a good time. So make sure that you always apply the MSM and the PSL routine whenever you get to a junction. One will ask, what is MSM? What is PSL? The M stands for mirror, signal, and maneuver, whilst the PSL stands for position, stop, look. So when you get to a junction, you should always position yourself depending on where you are turning to. The next rule is that brake gently in a good time. So please always don't speed ahead and get to the junction and force your way or force the car to stop. Always prepare to brake gently or smoothly in a good time to avoid any bad situation or any uncontrolled conditions. After braking gently, position your vehicle correctly. So when you get to the junction, make sure you position the car correctly. A situation whereby you find yourself in a single carriageway, you need to position the car well depending on where you intend to turn to. So if you want to turn to the right, make sure you position yourself at the right side. If you intend to turn to the left, make sure you position yourself to the left side. When you also get to the junction, the other rule is that you should look for pedestrians, obstacles, and traffic. Traffic simply means movement. So you have to check the movement that is on the road. Where is the movement coming from? There will be pedestrians willing to cross and all that. There will be other cars that will be parked blocking your ways and all that. So when you get to junction, try as much as possible to look out for all these things to be on the safer side. The fifth rule that I want to talk about is most of our challenge on the road as drivers. Because whenever we get to the road, we forget to read the road signs and act on them on the road. Please, the fifth rule says that read road signs correctly. So always you must read the signs correctly and act on them. So when you read them, what implies or what it means, then you act on them to be on the safer side. The last rule is that as a defensive driver, you should always assess the speed of traffic when you get to junction. The reason is that at every junction, traffic on your left always has the right of way per the laws of the country. So whenever you get to the junction, you should always assess the speed of the car coming on your left direction to be able to see that is it safe for you to go or not. Don't force your way out when you get to the junction. It is not everyone that will understand or will allow you when you force your way to enter. So please take note. Assess the speed of the traffic before you enter into the road. Now we've seen the rules at a junction. Let's move on to talk about approaching a junction. There are two different things here. When you are approaching a junction, you need to do something. And rules are the things you need to follow when you get to the junctions to be on the safer side. So let's quickly talk about approaching a junction. Whenever you get to a junction, or whenever you are approaching a junction, you should be able to know what type of junction it is and plan your way to deal with it. So the first thing that you need to know whenever you are approaching a junction is to know what type of a junction it is and know or plan how you are going to deal with it whenever you get to that situation or you get to the junction. So to help you do this, look for the following. That is one, the amount of traffic at the junction. So you should know the amount of traffic at the junction. As I said earlier, traffic has to do with movement. So it could be vehicular traffic, animal traffic, human traffic, any other forms of traffic. So please look out for the amount of traffic at the junction at that moment. The next thing that you need to also pay attention to is the warning signs, the road markings, directional signs at the junction, traffic light, the give way sign, and the stop signs at the junctions. So always when you get to a junction or when you're approaching a junction, these are some of the things you should look out for, which is going to help you know the type of junction that you are entering so that you can be able to assess it well and deal with it safely. The reason why you need to approach junctions with care and all this is that because when we talked about these junctions, we have some of them being an uncontrolled intersection junctions, and we have the controlled intersection junctions. So there are two different intersections there. The one that they are the uncontrolled intersection junctions are the ones that do not have the road markings, the directional signs, the traffic lights, the warning signs, and all that. And with this type of uncontrolled intersection, none of these things are on it. And they are mostly found within our areas where there isn't much traffic. So whenever you are approaching this particular junction, you must be extra careful, because you won't see what we just talked about. You won't see any sign telling you which of these cars or which of these traffic has the priority to go. And the control intersection junction is the one that has the warning sign, the road sign, the directional sign, the stop sign, the traffic light, and all that to control you at the junction when you get there. And mostly with this control type of intersection are mostly found in areas where there's a lot of traffic or there's a lot of movement. That is on our main roads and all that. That is the highway, the urban sectors and all that. So please, whenever you get to these two forms of intersections, please know how to deal with it by following the rules that we talked about earlier. Now that we've seen the two forms of intersections and how we should apply them, we are going to talk about some types of junctions that we have on our road. But before we talk about the types of junctions, please, if you are looking for a place to learn defensive driving, then please look else nowhere than Speedline Driving School. Speedline Driving School is located at Dometem Junction off the Kwabenya stretch. If you want to learn a driver training or learn a defensive driving with qualified skills, then please contact Speedline on 050 50 92 919 050 50 92 919. Also, Speedline Driving School is an approved driving school by DVLA and also a member of Ghana Drive. Speedline Driving School has an accredited driver instructors, they are all approved by DVLA. So please, look else nowhere than Speedline Driving School for the best driver education that you need. And also, Speedline is one of the best driving schools in Ghana as we speak. So now let's continue to talk about the types of junctions or forms of junctions that we have. We have the open junctions, we have closed junctions, and we have blind junctions. These are some of the forms or three forms of junctions that we have on our road. So we are going to take them one after the other and talk about them so that when we get to these areas, we get to know which one is open junction and which one is closed junction. Talking about open junction, with the open junctions, it allows you to see clearly on both directions as you approach it. So whenever you are getting close to the junction, you'll be able to see on both sides, that is the left and right side, the cars that they are coming. So with the open one, gives you a clear view on whatever that is going on at the junction. With the closed junctions, they often limit your view in one or both directions as you approach them. And again, they have the stop sign and the giveaway, or they have the road markings on them, most of the closed junctions, because it is hardly for you to see the other side. So you always have to get close to the T before you can be able to see. And with that particular area, you always have the stop sign, which tells you to stop there so that you can have a clear view before you step into the road. The blind junction, they have a restrict view even when you get to the stop line or when you are at the stop line. So that one has a restrict view. So when you are even there, you can't see. And with the blind junctions, they have the stop sign, road markings, and they have the giveaway sign on them as well. And before you can always enjoy using that particular area, you must always come to a complete stop before merging from the junction. So always you must go total stop at a restrict or at a blind junction, which always restricts you. So take note of that as well. Last thing that I want to talk about before we end today's session is lane discipline at junction. You know, most of the time on our roads in Ghana here, where the area is not marked or in a two-lane or two-way traffic, we normally see people fighting or people causing a lot of obstructions and things there. Please, whenever you get to a two-way junction where the area is unmarked and all that, we should try as much as possible to discipline ourselves. If you intend to turn right, you move to the right side, as I've talked about PSL already. So you position yourself at the right side if you intend to turn right. And also if you intend to turn left, also position yourself at the left side. But where the area is marked on the 3 lanes and all that, that one you have the specific areas marked there for you to stand. So we should always try as much as possible to discipline ourselves whenever we get to junction to be on a safer side. I have already told you that always don't think of where you are going first, but think of your life first. Your life comes before everything. So always discipline yourself at a junction. My name is the driver's teacher. Call me the driver's teacher and I always respond. Drive with safety in mind. Please take note that we are close to the end of the year. And since you know that getting close to the end of the year, always things happen. Please drive safe. Be more careful on the road. Follow the rules and regulations. And also try as much as possible to wear the coat anytime that you hit onto the road. And don't forget to share to your friends. Comment. Let your comment come so that we'll see where we fall and where we are. Sometimes maybe there's a topic that you want me to talk about that I've not talked about. Please let it reflect in the comment section so that we'll bring it to you or we'll talk about it. So please don't forget, drive with safety in mind, always when you hit onto the road.